What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and in today's episode of the fighting game tutorial series, we are going to be going over upgrading our store again. This time we're actually going to be able to buy an item and see the coins get taken away, and we're also going to buy the item in a way that supports multiple locations we want to buy them from. Say we don't always want to buy it from the store, but maybe we can buy something through some sub-menu or between matches without exiting all the way back. So we're going to allow items to be unlocked and purchased through the game instance without directly going through the store. Say we come down here to stages, and right now all of our stages are locked. So I have 400 coins, as you can see in the top right corner here. Let's say I want to unlock the training area stage. So I go ahead and press confirm. It says, are you sure you want to purchase stage training area for 5 tokens? And if we hit yes, it subtracts from our total. This is also going to reject the purchase if it fails, if it's an invalid item to purchase, if we don't have enough coins for it, or if we've already unlocked it. So if we go to our unlockable item data table, you can see all the things that we can unlock. And they have a cost. So the refinery is 50 coins. Let's go ahead and make that 500. I will save this. And we'll load up the game again. By the way, you don't actually have to load up the game again to change data tables. But anyway, let's go to the store and let's go to the stages, and you'll see that the refinery is 500 tokens. If I am to hit yes here, I don't have enough because I only have 400. If we hit yes, nothing happens. We can't purchase it. We don't have any indication to the user why it failed, but that is what is going on there. Of course, if we try to purchase something that we do have money for, then the money will be taken. Additionally, if we try to purchase something that we already have, it won't work. So you'll see we're over our mannequin character. We have 350 coins. It says, are you sure you want to purchase the character mannequin for 20 tokens? We have 20 tokens. But we also already have the mannequin. So there's no reason for us to be able to buy that again. So as we're hitting yes, we're not able to buy the mannequin. We're also going to have some quality of life and style improvements in this pop-up right here. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's episode. If you want to get caught up in the entire series so you see how we've done things from fighting, creating hitboxes, creating AI, I'll link you to the entire fighting game tutorial series playlist right here in the top right corner. If you only care about the store upgrades and the store in general, then I'll link you to the first episode of the store in the fighting game tutorial series right here in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. So this is a code and blueprint tutorial series. We're going to be doing a mix of code and blueprint today. Our actual logic that we're adding is going to be in the code, the C++, but we are going to modify a few things in the blueprint as well. Let's start in the code. In our code, I want to go to the base game instance.h. So the base game instance has some important data for purchasing things, such as the unlockable item type, the amount of currency that we already have, and our unlockables array. What I'm adding today is a purchase item function. So we were doing some basic behavior on the store to purchase items, but really it was just unlocking it regardless of if we had the currency, if it was a valid item, or if we already had it, whereas I'm going to be blocking that today. Additionally, it could be useful to have this purchase item function outside of the store widget. In case you ever want to be able to purchase things between matches, or if you want to have like consumables that you can purchase with in-game currency and you don't actually have to go to the store to do it, or maybe you want to even purchase an outfit for a character and that's on the character customization screen and not the store. So there's a few reasons we might want to be able to purchase items without being in the actual store. Having a function in the game instance will allow us to do that. So bool purchase item, and it takes in an integer index to purchase. This is the index of the unlockable item. When we're in the store, we have access to this, and if we're at other screens, we will also have access to this. We can just pass in the index of the unlockable item that we want to purchase, and this function will do the rest. It is a U function that is blueprint callable because we do want to be able to call it from the menus, like the store. As you can see here, the comment says purchase an item from the store/shop, returns true if the purchase is successful, which also means it returns false if it is not. Once you have this set up, let's go into the base game instance.cpp and scroll down to where we want to add this function. Bool u base game instance : purchase item, taking in an integer index to purchase. First thing we need to check, the index that was passed in is a valid index. If this is an invalid index for any reason, whether it be developer error, if this is retrieved from something and an invalid index is passed into this function, we don't crash. So if unlockables, this is our key array of F unlockable item that we have in our game instance. It tracks all the unlocked items by the instance of this game. And we check is valid index, and we're passing in our index to purchase. If this is false, then we won't go inside of this if statement, which means we're going to return false. We'll get to this in a few minutes, but just know if it's an invalid index, we won't do anything else. Next is if it's not already unlocked. So if not unlockables, index to purchase dot is unlocked. Because if it is already unlocked, we don't want to purchase it. Instead, we may want to let the user know they already have it, or we may even not want to let them open up that little pop-up asking them if they want to be able to purchase the item, because they already have it. But regardless, if they do already have it, we're not going to go into this if statement, which means we will return false. We have to make sure that the player has enough currency to actually purchase this item. So if the total currency is greater than or equal to the unlockables index to purchase dot currency cost. Currency cost is how much this item costs, literally, or how much it takes to unlock. Total currency is the amount of currency the main player has at the current time in the game. If the player has enough or more than enough to purchase this item, then we go into this if statement. Otherwise, we don't, and we will return false. If we do, we want to subtract the cost of the item from the currency that the player has. So total currency minus equals unlockables index to purchase dot currency cost. That way they actually get charged for their purchase. And then we want to set the item to be unlocked. So unlockables index to purchase dot is unlocked equals true. At this point we can return true because the purchase was successful and we were able to unlock the item. If we don't hit this return true statement, then all the other branches are going to lead to return false, which means we were unsuccessful in purchasing the item. Once we have this function made, we can go back into the editor. Now we're back in the editor, so we need to go into the store item pop-up, which is this widget right here. That way we can call purchase item if the user presses yes or confirms the yes button. So go to blueprints, widgets, menus, and I called mine store item pop-up. If we go into the graph and we go into confirm selection, this is where the user input the value, press the input that actually confirms the menu selection they're on. So we were determining the selection. If it was index 0, that is the yes button. If it's index 1, that is the no button. If it's index 0, we were getting the game instance, setting the unlockable index of this item, then removing the pop-up from the parent and listening for the store input actions again. So basically, if we confirmed, we were just automatically unlocking the item and that was it. Now we're doing this through our purchase item function. So we still want our base game instance, but we don't need to do a lot of this behavior. First things first, we can remove the unlockables in the get, because we're not setting the members on the unlockable item anymore. We're doing that in the code, so we can remove this as well. We do still want the item unlockable index. Item unlockable index is a variable on the store item pop-up that is passed in when this widget is created, because this widget is created when the player presses the confirm button on the store widget. So once the player has selected an item in the store that they want to purchase, we open up this widget. That's how we know what index or what item it is that we're trying to unlock. That index gets stored in this integer, and we're going to use that to determine the index to purchase on purchase item. So drag off of base game instance and call purchase item. Then get your item unlockable index and pass it in. So that's what we have here. We can clean it up a little bit. And something like that should do the trick. Now purchase item returns a boolean for if it was successful or not. We can handle this by dragging this into a branch. In this case, if the branch is true, I'm then doing the logic we were previously doing in the series. So we're going to remove this from the parent, basically remove this widget, and listen to the regular store widget controls again. If it's false, right now I'm not doing anything. However, what we should do is tell the player why it was false. Was it an invalid item? Did they not have enough currency? Or did they already have the item? That's what we could do in here. We'll have an entire episode dedicated to that because it's going to involve quite a bit of UI work to make that work in a nice manner. But you can do something simple for now, or if you have an idea of how you want to handle it, of course, You can go ahead and knock that out, as that stuff is purely cosmetic. The other thing we can do in this widget to make it a little bit cleaner is update our move selection border and clear path selection functions to have more than just a normal image. Because when we are setting the styles for these buttons, they are the gray button by default when they're not selected, and they're blue when they are selected or hovered by the user. But when we mouse over them, they go to that white icon. So something I like to do in all these is open up the style hovered here and split that struct pen. Style hovered means we're hovering it with the mouse. So if this style is going to be hovered, which is our blue button, at this point, this means this is the option that we are currently over top of. So if we're hovering this and we're over top of it, we want to go to the selected and hovered option. It's very similar to the hovered option, but instead it has a blue border around it as well, just to differentiate. It's a very small detail, but the reason this is important is if we go into our store, try to purchase something, go over here to yes. When we highlight it with the mouse, we get a little effect here instead of going to that white image. So a nice little quality of life improvement and very simple to do. We want to do the same thing for the no button as well. So split the style hovered. And for the style hovered image, we want to go to SNH, button P1 SNH. Very simple. And now if we go to clear path selections, this is where we are erasing the other ones or resetting their style back to the default value. In this case, we're calling two events that we have in the event graph, clear selection 1 and clear selection 2. These events just reset the normal style back to button var 1, which is our gray button. On top of that, if we highlight over a button when it's gray, we can still bring it to the blue button, the hovered variation. It just won't be the selected and hovered. Alternatively, you can bring it to the P1 selected, which is the gray button with a blue outline, just to differentiate. So now if we go to style hovered here, we can select the struct pen. And for the style hovered image, we can use our hover BTN P1 hover var 1. And let's do the same for the no button. So split struct pen on style hovered. Style hovered image is hover. Now at this point, we can come into the game, go to our store, go to the pop-up, and if we hover over the other button, we will still get that hover section, but we'll also be able to get the hovered and selected section when we're controlling it with the mouse and the keyboard. So that's just a nice little way to clean up our store item pop-ups. Anyway guys, if this helped you improve your store and you're excited about going into more depth about this, then please subscribe. It does more for myself in the series than anything else you can do, and I really appreciate that. I want to give a huge thank you to the YouTube membership, Patreon supporters, and Discord subscribers. You guys are amazing. If you had any issues with this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. There's a link in the description, and I would be happy to help you. Anyway, guys, that's all I got, so thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.